Welcome back. This is Diane.Boerstler again, the hypnotic Amazon copywriter, and we are going to launch right into module 1. Just a few reminders. So module 1 is who's going to buy, and to figure that out, we're going to lock in on your ideal customer persona or your ideal friend. Okay. So a couple things right off the bat. Just a reminder, this is not for reprint or commercial use. You are welcome to use this for your own third-party products. You are welcome to share this with your immediate family members and train them. You're welcome to use this to train your legal business partners and your legal employees. Okay, but this is not to be shared with anybody else. So, basically because we created it, we have the rights to it and you bought it. But we do want you to feel open and completely free to train your significant other or your kids, since they're joining in your Amazon business, I hope, or your, legal co-owners of the business or legal employees. Okay, let's kick right off. The first thing you need to know is that when you go and you write your Amazon listing, you're not selling, okay? Your focus isn't to sell. Your focus is to solve their problem, and more specifically, show how your product solves their problem and transforms their life so they get the outcome that they want. So imagine that your customer is your friend, right? You can think of any friend you have right now. It doesn't have to be the ideal friend to buy your product. You're meeting them for coffee or drinks because they ask you to, and when they get there, they look really sad. They look glum. You say, what's wrong? And because you've already built that trust and rapport with them, they launch into a problem that they're having, right? Now, how does this apply to Amazon? I'm sorry. So what would you do in that situation? Well, of course, if they're a good friend and you care about them, just like you should care about your customers, you're going to try to start proposing solutions. Okay, you're going to say, hey, oh, you're feeling fat today. Your jeans don't fit. You don't feel good about the way you look in the mirror. I tried this thing. Why don't you try this thing? Or, hey, I have this other friend who tried this thing. So why don't you try this thing? Have you tried the LCHF diet? Have you tried low carb? Have you tried low fat? Have you tried paleo? Obviously, we've written about a lot of diet products. Have you tried this particular weight loss pill? Have you tried increasing the supplement? You would usually give them a specific solution. You wouldn't just throw your hands up in the air and be like, oh, hey, I don't know how to help you. Wish I could, right? You care about this person. So on Amazon, it's our job to build that rapport with and it's easiest to do with a very specific person, which we're gonna talk about that in a minute. And the way that you're gonna do that is by using specific language that person would use in your listing to solve that problem. And the way they're gonna solve that problem is, of course, with your product, right? So just like you would need to convince your friend to take action on the solution you believe will help them experience transformation and change, from feeling fat to thin, from feeling exhausted to, highly energetic and almost hyperactive, and being able to tackle their entire day from feeling foggy brain to having crystal clarity. You want to help your Amazon customer experience the same thing. You want to help them, convince them to buy your product, or rather use the language that allows them to convince themselves to buy your product. Okay? So before we can even do that, we need to know who we're speaking to, right? We're not speaking to an audience. We're speaking to a specific person. It's like having a conversation with your best friend in a coffee shop or at the bar. In order to do that, we need to learn how to identify their language. We need to learn what that language is. And then we need to use that language to speak to them in a way that makes them trust you and want to purchase your product because they believe your product can solve their problem, right? So before, obviously, you can do that, you need to realize before you can sell anything, any product, you have to sell to someone. You have to, put together the words that are going to have someone convince themselves to buy your product. Okay? So you have to know who you're selling to. You have to know why they want to buy. You have to know what they believe they need to see before they buy. So, what features, benefits, and transformation do they need to see in your title and your bullet points and in your description or EBC description. Excuse me, I have the hiccups here. Give me just a moment, I'm going to get a drink of water. And that way, it allows you to bridge the gap between your product's listing and their subconscious mind, so they click that buy now button. Okay. There is a hard way to do this, and there is an easy way to do this. The hard way to do this is guess and check. Okay? So you can guess what they want, and then you can keep going back to see if your sales go up, and you can guess who they are, and you can keep going back and seeing if your sales gone up. Or you can try to speak to everybody, and you can keep going back and seeing if your sales have gone up. I can guarantee, unless you're psychic, or unless your product really does apply to every single person on the planet, for example, you're giving away money for less money than you're charging, then you're not going to see a lot more sales by doing that. Some people get lucky with one product and nail it, and then they don't understand why 9 of their other products are not, or 10 of their other products, or 20 of their other products aren't experiencing high conversions, but they have that one horse. And so they think that one winning horse, so they think they have to cut the other horses loose. That's not true. You're just speaking to the wrong person and you're saying the wrong things to them, right? So we're going to learn who that person is you should speak to so you can go through and be able to identify this with all of your different products. And if you have a brand line where you have multiple products that solve the same problem, that's even better for you because you'll learn to speak to different people so you can guide people to the right product, right? You'll know how to speak to the premium customer who wants to have the higher end thing you offer that's $200 versus the, value-driven, value-conscious customer who, or the person looking for the cheap, like the cheapest way to do it, who wants to pay $30 for an item. Pardon me there. So the best way to go about doing this is to define yourself first. Define yourself as the perfect customer. So as you go through this training, I want you to be writing down the answers as though you were your ideal customer persona, your best friend that you speak to at a bar. You're going to identify who you are, what you believe, how people currently see you, how you want to be seen, which we call future pacing, how you don't want to be seen, which we call regret pacing, right? You're pacing regret in their brain. You're showing them the regret. And you're going to do a couple other things as well. So first thing we need to learn is demographics and psychographics. So there may be some of you watching right now who understand demographics and psychographics, but we're going to go over it anyway because it's just a great reminder and refresher. And for those of you who don't, this is going to be a wonderful intro into the world of marketing and marketing psychology. Okay, so a demographic explains who your buyer is. So, for example, what is their age? What is their income? How many children do they have? Do they have children? Are they married? Are they divorced? Are they single? Are they hoping to get married? Are they widowed? Are these people, what's their annual income? I don't know if I mentioned that already. What sexual orientation do they identify with? What gender do they identify with? And we won't need to know all of that for your Amazon listing, but the more you know and the more targeted your persona, the easier it is to think of yourself speaking to that person. Okay, give me a second here. I'm going to get rid of that. I apologize. There are notifications going on down here, and I don't seem to be able to ever shut them off, even though I try to shut them off. So, Psychographics explains why they buy. Okay, why? What are the problems? What are the problems they're experiencing? Or where is it? It might not always be a problem. Where is it they want to get to in their life? Do they want to create more income? Do they want to look sexier? Do they want to attract that mate? Do they want to, do they want to have more financial stability? Do they want to feel more energy every single day? Do they want to have clearer memory? Do they want to, have more self-love? Do they want other people to accept them? Why are they buying, right? So demographics are who they are on paper. Psychographics is more in their brain. Why are they buying? We have to effectively target both. You can only effectively reach your target audience when you understand both and then combine both sets of the data into this friend whose problem you're solving. Right? And basically whose problem your product is solving. So we're going to do a little bit of snooping. And there are some great ways to snoop on your friends, right? So you can figure out kind of what they want and what they need and who they are and, and in ways that in places where they're completely honest. There's also great places to find what we call data sets of information. So for example, people who like, dogs, let's say you're selling dog toys, people who like dogs also like these other groups. Also feel they're a member of these other groups. Maybe people who like dogs like wine. We know that's true, actually. People who like dogs like wine. Maybe people who like dogs like outdoor activities. Maybe people who like dogs like fireplaces. But I'm going to show you how to do that. So the first thing that you want to do, which you can do on your own, I don't need to show you how to do this, I'm sure, is look for forums and blogs that talk about the problem your product solves. So if you have a weight loss product, you want to talk about, or you want to go to you want to go and Google, weight loss, like best ways for weight loss. And actually, let me see here. Okay, yep. Go and Google best ways to lose weight, or weight loss blog, or best weight loss blog, or best weight loss forums. You can do that. If you have a dog and, let's say that you have a dog toy and one of the biggest problems it solves is that, puppies chew on everything, but they have to chew, right? So you can go and you can look at, how to stop your puppy from chewing, or dog behavior blogs, dog behavior forums. If you want to, if your product, if the whole core thing behind your product is it helps people feel sexier, you can go and look at blogs that talk about, how to boost your self-confidence so you feel sexier, how to get the opposite, I'm sorry, not just the opposite sex, but get the person you want to, feel attracted to you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So look at the problem that your product solves and write down all those problems and go look on forums and blogs and see specifically the type of people who are there. Are these moms? Are these dads? Are these, adults who are in their 40s to 60s? Are these adults who are in, who are 18 to 25? And a lot of products on Amazon have a huge age range, and that's okay, because as long as they're solving a problem, or as long as we can create the perception that they're solving a problem, then they're going to sell anyway, right? The other thing you want to do is be able to look at Amazon reviews to get a feel for who buys. Now, this isn't necessarily going to tell you much about their demographics, obviously, because Amazon doesn't have something with the buyer persona that says female, 35, 4 kids, drives a Lexus, right? This is going to tell you more the psychographics. This is going to tell you the reason why they bought that product. And we're actually going to go a lot more into depth into this in a later module. So you don't have to worry about that right now. We're going to go into that with our competitive research, right? You can go to groups on Facebook, facebook.com, and then up in the search bar, look for groups that solve a problem that your product solves. So, again, back to dog, let's go to nootropics, okay? Actually, I like nootropics. Let's go to nootropics, which are brain health supplements, essentially, or brain boosting supplements. Go and look for people who are in these high performance groups. I'm in this group that has to do with high performing females, high performing women, and look in those groups and see what they're talking about. See what solutions they're proposing. That'll both tell you, why they're buying, and it'll give you a good idea of who they are. You can see from their pictures their approximate age range. You can see if they're male or female. You can, see what else they're discussing, what else they care about, right? If they're all jumping on one show, they care about that show, and you can go and look at that. Then there is Facebook Audience Insights, which is one of my favorite places, my absolute favorite places to find data about people who use products like yours. This is a treasure trove of information, okay? So, give me a second here. I'm going to switch this to Facebook Audience Insights. Okay, so as you can see, I've gone to Google, I've typed in Facebook Audience Insights. The direct link is also in your PowerPoint. So if you download your PowerPoint frames, then you will see that as well. So this right here explains Facebook Audience Insights. Okay. And so we go to Facebook IQ Audience Insights page, go to Audience Insights, and I'm showing you this just in case they change the URL. That way you know how to actually get there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to first choose everyone on Facebook. Now, if you already have, let me back up a bit. If you already have a page, a Facebook page, and a ton of fans, you can, and you have a brand line that solves the same problem, with multiple different products. You can go and look at the people connected on your page, right? But for this particular, and you'll get the same information, but more tuned into the people who've already connected with your page. Now, as a side note, just because they're connected to your page doesn't mean that they are most likely to purchase your product. If you have a highly engaged page or group, you want to go and do this. If not, then go to everyone on Facebook. Okay, so right now we have location. Let's say that, you're selling on Amazon US, and you can change this to any location, Australia, UK, Germany, France, Italy, etc. Okay, we have our age range, right? So we can guess at our age range, especially in, if you want to, or you can say, okay, I know that, my product solves back pain. People don't start experiencing back pain usually until they're 35. And, I know that they, so we'll do 35 to any, right? So let's say we're looking for a back pain product. Hold on. That's 19. So you just click on that, scroll down. Okay. Let's say that this particular product, tends to support women more. You can click on women. If you think it supports men more, click on men. And you'll know this because you've gone to the forums and you've gone to the blogs and seen who is interacting there. And forums are particularly awesome because, on blogs, a lot of people don't tend to comment, but you can look at the voice that the person is writing to and that the person is writing with, and you can kind of identify what age they are. But these forums are excellent, and I can actually show you that in just a minute, kind of what we're looking at. So I'm just going to leave it as all. Here we have interests, okay? So let's say that, let's see here. Let's say it's for back pain. Let's see. So there's a Cure Back Pain Network. Okay. So if we go up here, it says that's not a lot of people, but we can go to pain research. And for back pain, you might look more specific, like sciatica. Let's see what we come up with here. Sciatica nerve, sciatic. That's for anatomy. Let's see what happens if we put up pain for lower back. Nothing pops up. So you just keep coming up with ideas, you know, to see what else you can find. But let's see here. There was one, like, let's say that you could also think of other products, right? So, or other solutions that deliver similar results to your product, or that people, even if they don't, people believe they deliver similar results. So, for example, a lot of people think that foam rolling, which is, you know, there's statistical evidence to back this up. Foam rolling, you know, helps relieve back pain and hip pain, right? A lot of people might also think that acupuncture helps to relieve that. A lot of people think that massage helps relieve that, right? So infant massage, let me see if I can scroll down a little bit so I can actually see this. Okay, hydro massage, stone massage, and a lot of these are a little bit fancier massage types people wouldn't use for back pain, so you might go with, no massage chair, let's see here. You go with like just regular massage at that point in time. So let's look at these. So now we have 4 interests, right? We can go to, you know, if you have a page, you can connect people. You say people connected to your page. You can also look for people not connected to your page. You can look for, give me a second here. You can also, for this, there's like a drop down. So if you want to, you know, when you're first typing it in, so for example, you see business and industry, entertainment, family and relationships. If you know that people who purchase your product are really into fitness and wellness, you can come over here and say, okay, well, what are they into? Are they into meditation? You know, does my product help them meditate better, faster, longer, get better results, right? Are they into physical exercise? What kind? What kind of physical exercise? Well, maybe they're into dieting, or they're into going to the gym. You know, maybe they go to the gym, but we know they no longer want to go to the gym. You know, they're into physical fitness, right? And so that'll add, if you click up here, it'll add up here. So since we're doing back pain right now, a product that solves back pain problems, we're going to use this. Now, I'm going to walk you through this because this is really awesome. Facebook is what we call a very good generalizable slice of the majority of the population. Okay, so right now we're showing that 9 to 10 million people are active on Facebook monthly who have interest in acupuncture, curing back pain, foam rolling, and massage. Okay, so 74% of these are women. So we know that our ideal buyer persona, we should really be speaking to a woman as much as possible. Okay, we know that the grand majority of these, that there's no one in 18 to 24, no one 25 to 34, 35 to 44, 45 to 54, 55 to 64. So our age range would be 35 to, you know, eternity, or primarily 35 to 54. There's a difference in generational beliefs between this group right here and this group right here. So if you can target 35 to 54, young, you know, want to feel young still, want to feel hip still, you know, want to feel like they can run still, or do their exercises, or chase after their kids, or chase after their grandkids, versus this group, that's great. So you would say, okay, their age is 35 to 54. Okay, what else do we know about these people? Look at this. This tells you about their lifestyle. Okay, when you're speaking to them, your best friend would be someone who really, really, really appreciates work and play. Okay, someone who really focuses on country comfort. And if you want to know what this is, there's this great little eye here, right? So country comfort, as it says here, is a combination of rural white-collar and blue-collar families. Some self-employed with mixed-age children. They rank 16th for household income and has a relatively high percentage of working women. Write that down. Those are all things you want to know, because you're wanting to create this persona, right? So you can say, you know, they appreciate work and play. And work and play are affluent single parents. Okay, these are white-collar professional metrocentrics, which means, you know, people who live in the city, who enjoy the city and appreciate it. They enjoy comfortable incomes, and they're a mix of homeowners and renters. Quick note here. If you have a product and you're selling it based on value and how it's, you know, the best price for the value, you're going to target country comfort. Obviously, income level, rural white-collar, blue-collar families. These are families with kids, mixed age children. They rank 16th for household income, which is still great, but both members of the family have to work for the most part. These are single people who can afford to live an awesome lifestyle. They're white collar, they're metrocentric, which means that they have, they live in the city, they have a lot of extra money, very comfortable incomes, and they either rent their home or own their home. So you get to pick. You're not going to do both of them. Okay? Pick one. If you're doing weight loss, right? So make sure you do that. That's going to tell you about that person. Their relationship status. Do we know if they're married? Are they single? Are they in a relationship? Are they engaged? We know that 68% of these people are married. That's incredible. Okay. We know that, so write that down. 68% are married. So we know we're targeting a married person. And these additional people will fall in if you speak to your friend as though they're a married person. You don't even have to mention that they're married, but you might mention that their partner can use it too, or their spouse can use it too, right? You're gonna, again, when you speak to someone, just like you understand who they are in their lifestyle, and you can paint that picture using their actual lifestyle right now, you're going to increase your sales. The next thing we look at is education level, right? So 62% selected audience, and 61.9% for Facebook users. This means 62% of our people went to college. That's pretty important. 28% went to high school, but these people are going to be more likely to be able to afford most of the medium level to high-end products on Amazon. Of course, these people definitely can, but as you can see, they're 62%, so write down college degree, okay? Let's see here. Down here, job title. This is not incredibly, so you can look at this and say, okay, well, I know that my friend's a manager, and you can write that down, and that might help you frame what they're doing. But as you can see, these are all professional services that require usually higher level degrees, okay, for the most part. So we're not speaking to the arts, entertainment, and media people very much. That's just 10%. We're definitely speaking to the management level. We're definitely speaking to people who teach, people who run libraries. We're definitely speaking to government employees. But you want to focus on the fact this person has a professional job. They wear professional clothing. They're not necessarily self-employed. Okay? So let's go over here. Even more cool stuff. What pages do they like? What matters to them? So the number one page that this group of people likes is home away. Let's see what that looks like. Let's see here. And again, this is for back pain. It's really interesting. Home away, get home away from it all. What's this page about? Why would they even be following this page? These people are, let's see here, home away. They are travelers. These people like to travel. Burn, baby, burn. Ski season is upon us, right? This is high-end travel. Local and travel websites. These are exotic locations. They care about their experience. So you'll want to mention if you have a back pain product that you'll be able to sit in an airplane seat for 13 hours so you can get to, fly anywhere around the world. You can continue to jet set. You can continue to do those walking tours you so love. You can continue to, you're going to want to do that. And this allows you to speak directly to the audience, right? We know they're health conscious. Okay. They like a smoothie and juice bar, rock and wellness. We know that, again, travel. Okay, we know that they like a good deal. Okay, but they like a good deal. Coupon Divas, I'll show you what this is. This is not a, give me just a second here. You're going to see that this is a money saving site, but people in the top 15 to 20% of incomes in the United States always comparison shop. So make sure that you mention something about that in your listing, and I'll show you how to do that in another module. Okay, but look at what they're comparison shopping on. Are they comparison shopping on socks? No. They're comparison shopping. They're getting excited about coupons for things like $300 to $600 commercial grade KitchenAid, right? That means they have a big kitchen because those puppies are big. So if they can fit that in their kitchen, they have a big kitchen. They are getting excited about high-end mascara. They are getting excited. And then there's these other things, like the things for their families, right? We know these people are single parents, or, sometimes 60% are married and some of them are single, some are wealthy single parents. And they want to save money, right? So, but they're less likely to buy these particular products because they're health conscious. They more than likely will not put this stuff in their kids' bodies because they can afford organic soup, organic creamer, organic pizza rolls, organic pepperoni, etc. Let's see here. But then again, if you're going with country, if you're going with country lifestyle, this is great. Okay. Let's see here. Hold the phone, low price alert. So they're showing. They like humor. Obviously, everybody likes humor. We'll talk about that in a minute. So that's one of their preferred sites. They like to save money. And if you can point out that they're saving money, even better. Zappos. Zappos, they like this because it focuses on quality. So you need to write down, my group likes quality. I'm not even going to go to Zappos. I'm sure everybody knows that for the most part, that's a really rapidly expanding shoe store. There's home decor. They shop at Pier 1. Pier 1 is expensive. According to most middle-class families, Pier 1 is someplace you go and you buy 3 things for about $500. And that's fine with me. I can afford that. But a lot of families would say, I don't really, I'd rather go, to Target and buy something. We know that they like high-end things. We know they like trends. We know they like fashion. Book VIP, again, a travel agency. They love to travel. Simple Most for media. We can go and see what that is. And again, you're going to look at and explore these pages based on your particular customers' interests and what you end up putting in for Facebook audience insights. Let's see here. Oops. Oh, there it goes. Okay, let's see what we have here. Well, it takes forever to load. Let's see. Okay. So I'm going to give it like 10 more seconds. If it doesn't load, here we go. Simple Most. What's Simple Most about? High-end fancy nail stuff. Innovation. So this is about, things that, this is like, you know what? If you see a page like this where it's really jumbled and there's no one consistent message, ignore that. Don't assume it means anything about your group, okay, or about your specific person. Media, God today, they may be religious, they may not. We'll find out in just a little while here. They didn't indicate that religion was that important to them. They didn't show up on the other demographics page, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. The Bradford Exchange is a collectibles store. Let's go see what their price point is. Let's see here. So, $135 for a kitschy peanuts thing. $159.95 for a decanter set. Hogwarts. These, the Bradford Exchange sells passion-driven products, right? People who are passionate about something. So, what you're going to look at this, something like this for, you're not going to say, oh, well, I assume they like, cross, snowballs and they like these giant angels and they must love the Astros. That's not what we'd use a page for this for. We would use this and say, okay, this company obviously knows their stuff. They have over 2.6 million people who like them, and they're selling products you could find at Walmart for $25 for $135. And these are passion products. So if you have a group that's passionate, about what it is that they're getting, go through and look at these and say, okay, well, they're selling, an NFL decanter set for $160. That's a pretty steep price for a decanter set off of Amazon, even on Amazon. They're selling some for Hogwarts for $100. And that's probably because the reason it might be so pricey is because they have to have the license agreement to sell these products, right? And that can cost a boatload. So I'm going to get off Facebook here. Let's go over to location. Where do they live? If you're going to be marketing to these people, this might give us some indication. It doesn't. If you're looking for people if you're looking to solve the problem of back pain, right, or body pain, you are going to be spread across the entire United States. Sometimes you'll see a huge group of people, in, Texas, for example. Sorry, pardon me here. We can see top countries as well, but that's only if you do worldwide or you put in several countries. Right now, of course, it's 100% US. Top languages spoken. This one's going to be pretty obvious. 93% English, 4% Spanish. Okay? If you do this and you see top languages and you see you have 50% Spanish keywords, 50% Spanish, this is just an aside, put turn your main keywords into Spanish keywords and put them in your back end as your first back end keywords. Okay? And we'll go more into back end keywords later, but that's really important. Let's go over to activities. Remember, we're building this person persona. So, let's see here. The number of times that this group of people perform these actions on Facebook. This isn't going to give you a lot of data right here. It's really interesting, though, to see that, the only reason you would look at this is say, okay, is it even worth it for me to advertise on Facebook to this group? Well, among all Facebook users, which is this gray part right here, I'm sorry. So this is how much all Facebook users are clicking ads. This is how much your particular person is clicking ads. That's a lot. That looks to me like it's about, 50% higher. Let's say 50% to be conservative, higher than what other groups are clicking. So you would know, hey, if I can find the right audience on Facebook, I can market this on Facebook. Let's see here. So we also know that they're using, if we go over here, it's like, okay, this is really important because, and this doesn't have to do with their persona, but this has to do with how we're writing your particular listing, right? So this is what we call balance. Anything that's 35 to 50% on one side and 35 to 50% on the other side for desktop and mobile versus mobile only. This is how they read online. This is how they shop online, etc. This is balance. So you would target your listing to be optimized for desktop because mobile will fall into that. It'll pull it more on desktop than it would for mobile. Now let's say you're over here and it says, 15% of people shop for products online or look online using their desktop, but 85% of people use their mobile phone. You're going to want to optimize for mobile, and we're going to talk about what that means in an upcoming module, but just make sure you write that down. And then we have, let's see here. This tells you what they're using. Are they using their phone or iPod? Are they using their Android? Again, they're using 10% are using their computer. You can look over here and say, okay, most people are actually, if you look at this, you're like, oh, let's break this down. What are they using? They're using their Android. They're using their iPhone, or iPad. It wouldn't be an iPod. So write that down as well. Because when you go back and target, right, you can actually, if you go back and use Facebook targeting, if you decide to do that when you're increasing traffic to your product, you can actually go in and set up a campaign that says, I only want to target people on their iPhone, or I only want to target people with an Android platform. And you'll get a lot more crisp, clear results as opposed to saying, well, I want to target people with a Windows platform or who have Blackberries or, something along those lines. See how it's 0% Blackberry right there? 2% mobile web, 7% computer. So you're going to want to target these people on Facebook. Let's see here. Households. Love this one. Check this out. Our people who have back pain make on average $50,000 to $100,000 a year. I know a lot of people say, well, how do I know how much they make? Here's how you know. It's right here. So we also know that 85% of them own their own home, right? There's not a good balance here. 85% of them own their own home. That's more than the general population. This is about on par with the general population. Again, general population is that gray behind, and then the blue is your particular persona that we're looking to create. So you can go really simple and say 50 to 75%, but usually we want to go with what we call the 50% median, or the 50% curve in the middle. So add up the two largest ones that total about 50%, and you can say, okay, well, my person makes $50,000 to $100,000 a year. Why does that matter? Because they have enough income to afford products that aren't $10 and $15. Generally, they have enough expendable income to afford products that are higher end. They are able to solve that problem, by buying a higher end back pain solution, which means if your back pain solution, delivers more, you can charge a bit more for that. Household size. This always cracks me up. So we have 19% is one person, 23% is two people, 22% is three people, 16%. So we know that the majority of your groups the majority of your person, the majority of the people who you're targeting, like that specific person, I apologize, I was trying not to cough, they fit into the more than one person. So they're either, married, and we know that they are, for the most part, if you're targeting those country people, or we know that they're not married and they have a child, but we know that they don't tend to live alone very often. They live alone less than the general population. Home market value, this is a good one. So 40%, that's close enough to 50%, we'd use that, is $200,000 to $500,000. Now that's a huge gap, but you still want to know that these people live in a decent sized house regardless of where they are in the country. Either they can afford to live someplace really expensive and live in a small house so they can live in a great place, or they live in a place that's okay, but they have a really nice house. Okay, now what does that mean? And why is that important? It's really important because it helps you to understand that they want to be seen as someone who has money because they're living in a nice place, or because they are living in a nice house, right? Spending methods. I love this one. Okay, so where do they spend? They use any card, okay? 94% use any card, 93% use a bank card. This shows that they have credit cards. This shows they have good credit. This shows they manage their income well. So we know they can usually afford to buy slightly higher end products. They can afford to look more at value versus looking at cost. Okay, cost is when it's the cheapest. Value is when you deliver the most for the best price. Okay, let's see here. 73%, they use a gas or a store card. That's good to know. 39%, they use cash. That means they have money. Okay, but they have less cash on hand, probably because, most people are kind of going to this, in the country and in the city, I guess. So, this 39% doesn't really show us much. Primarily credit card is 61%. That's 17% higher. So we know, again, that they have access to funds. So we don't have to be afraid of charging a little bit more for our product as long as we can justify it. Purchase behavior. Okay, so these people, again, 57% of them spend, a decent, a decent amount of money. They spend they spend about 5% more, 4% more, about 3% more than other Facebook audience users. Okay, let's see here. Online purchases. Their online purchases says low, right? When compared to other consumers. So these guys are split up pretty well. Some of them don't purchase online a lot. Some of them do purchase online a lot. Some of them purchase online, a lot. So basically we know this is looking at affordability. Purchase behavior. I love this part. So what are they purchasing online? They are, and again, this doesn't come from Facebook. This comes from sites with, trillions of data points. This particular area does. Datalogix, Epsilon, and Axiom, which are great sites, although the membership to those sites is tens of thousands of dollars per year, usually for a marketing agency, but you can get all that data for free if you come to Facebook. Not as in depth, but you can get it accumulated and calculated in a way that's measurable and you can understand for free on Facebook. So let's see here. So business purchases, 6%. They're not making very many business purchases online. That's okay. We don't need them to. Sports and outdoors. We know that they want to be active. We know they want to be outdoors. Clothing online. That's not something that's usually really significant. You don't really look a lot at that unless you're actually selling a clothing item. Pet products. We know they want pets. We know they want to run with their dog, right? You want to run with your dog. We know they have kids. They want to run after their kids. Home and garden. We can mention that they want a garden. They might be gardeners, so write that down. They're pet owners. They're gardeners. They like sports and outdoors. Health and beauty. And a lot of people buy health and beauty stuff online. That can be everything as basic from shampoo to conditioner to soap to deodorant to, high-end products, which we were looking at before, like, some revolutionary mascara. Food and drink. They buy a lot of food and drink online. That means they probably, excuse me, that this may also include offline as well. But that's higher than what most other people spend on food and drink. Subscription services. This is a huge one. Okay, people who are poor don't tend to buy subscription services. People who are wealthy and they spend 74%, they're in the 74th percentile for people who buy prescription services. That means they have money. Then we can even figure out what kind of vehicle they drive, which is really cool because that helps me to give a perfect picture in my mind when I'm speaking to someone. If I can say, okay, well, I know that my group drives a mid-sized car, or that my group, and of course that mid-sized car is going to be the city, or they're going to drive a mid-size or a hybrid, right? For then our group, so we say, okay, my person drives a mid-sized car. You can envision what kind of mid-sized car they drive. You can make that up yourself, but think about when you're doing that, what type of income do they have? What type of home do they live in? What kind of car would someone like that, would you see them driving if you want to do that? Let's see here. And that, down here is more for the city dweller when we're looking at the, white collar, comfortable income, I should say, like middle class, upper middle class, comfortable income, white collar worker. But if you're looking at the, the country lifestyle, people who have kids and, both partners work, you're looking at maybe someone who drives a pickup truck or someone who drives a crossover, right? So think about that and because we have sort of two different people in this group that fall into this group, decide who you're going to target based on that. So that is our really, really in-depth insight into Facebook and how to create your own buyer persona. So now we're going to go through this here. Let's see here. So where did we go? I apologize all the jumping around. Let's see here. So let's go to play. I'm going to go back to where we were. Let's see here. So we did Facebook audience insights already, and I think I had it scheduled for later, but I'm just really excited to show that to you, and I think it makes more sense. So to go back to this, just some marketing psychology, demographics, they're going to explain the who of who your buyer is. So psychographics explain the why. And as I mentioned, you can only effectively reach that target audience if you understand both their demographics and their psychographics. The combination of both sets of that data is that person, it's gonna form that person who you speak to. So you can kind of get an idea of who you're talking to. Okay, so for psychographics, when we went and looked at Facebook audience insights, what did we realize they were concerned about? We realized they're concerned about their health. They spend money on health and fitness. We realize they're concerned about the foods they eat. We realize they're concerned about being, like I said, basically more health conscious. They're concerned about appearing as someone who's outdoorsy or who's active, right? They're concerned about appearing somebody who's wealthy because of what they spend, or at least has money, and is middle class because of what they spend on their home. Those things. So that's where this would fall in, the psychographics, right? So we have to look at that and ask ourselves, by looking at this, how can we tell, what does it tell us about what they want and what's stopping them from getting it, right? And we're going to go into this more specifically in the module for competitive analysis when we go through Amazon reviews and questions. So, for example, they have back pain. They want a healthy lifestyle. They want to feel good because they want to go outdoors. They want to go running, jogging, biking, whatever it was. They want to run after their dog and throw the ball. They want to be able to play with their kids. They want to go on those walking tours for travel, right? We now know this about these people. We didn't know this before. But their back hurts. Okay, so they have to solve that problem. Sorry, it sounded a little bit hoarse. I'm just trying to project my voice so that I'm hearable. I'm audible. Maybe they want. So we know the reasons for what we know what they want, basically, right? Now we know what's stopping. We know that the back pain is stopping them from getting it. And we just did the Facebook Audience Insights tutorial. So I'm going to skip over that. So the more specific you can dig down, again, this is a reminder, if you go to Facebook Audience Insights and you find interests that are interests of the group who would use your product, or the person specifically who would use your product, are they male or female or undefined? What is their age range? We looked at that and we said, oh, hey, there's 50% of our group falls between this age and this age. Are they single? Are they married? Are they divorced? Do they have children? Do they want children? On Facebook, we can't really find out if they want children unless for some reason, but you can find that out in blogs and you can find that out in reviews if they mention things about their kids, right? Or if they mention wanting kids. The reason that we would even want to know that is for something that is going to help them get children. So it helps them attain more financial stability so they can have children. It helps them lose weight so they can safely and healthfully have children. It helps them to overcome infertility so they can have children, right? We looked at, if they have children, approximately how many live in that household, or are they empty nesters? Some of these groups are, it's like 55 to, eternity, 55 till death, I guess is the better way to say it. So, they might be empty nesters. They might, those might be the people looking at your products. They might be buying something really nice for themselves for the first time because they don't have a child around all the time to accidentally throw a ball in the house and break it, right? Maybe you sell like a really high-end jewelry box, something like that. Or a sculpture, or something along those lines. Something that you couldn't have kids and own at the same time without worrying about it breaking, or without worrying about your kids feeling bad for breaking it. So, again, what issues are they dealing with that your product can solve? Okay. What's their household income range? We found that out. Are they a homeowner or a renter? Do they own a specific thing, like an iPhone or a Mercedes or a Citizen watch? Or do they want to own that specific thing, right? We can find that out from the forums. We can find that out from going to the Facebook groups that are indicated under Audience Insights. And if this isn't pertinent to your product use, that's great. But it can tell you a lot about their identity, which we're going to go into shortly. It's kind of like, what do they want? Do they want to do well with 3D art design because they like the praise they get by creating art, but they don't want to invest a ton of effort into becoming better at their craft? So they want a tool that makes them feel better fast. Maybe you have that tool, right? So what I want you to notice here is that they're arguing with themselves, basically. We need to figure out what they're arguing with themselves about. We need to figure out where that conflict is in their brain. So we can also find out what they enjoy, and we can do that by looking at those specific groups, right? These people for back pain, they really enjoy online shopping. We figured that out. They enjoy owning, they enjoy owning innovative products. You can use the Facebook Audience Insights to figure this out. You can go into those groups and see what they're, or onto those pages, see what they're talking about. Let's see here. So now this is really important. We've talked a lot about whether or not they believe they can afford your product, right? So there's this saying you've probably heard before, and it's, you can have two of the four. You can have cheap or fast or easy or quality. So you compare any two of those, but you can't get all four. Okay, you can get a high quality item and you can get it fast and you can probably get it easily, but you can't get it for cheap, right? You can't buy it for cheap. You can get a cheap item and you can get it fast and easily. I should have said 3 of the 4. Cheap item, you can get that fast and you can get that easily, but you cannot, necessarily get a high quality item. You can get something, so you're kind of looking at what's the balance? What is it that your person wants? What do they favor? And people do step outside their box. They'll occasionally buy luxury items, even if they're a cheapskate, because they love somebody and they want to show them they love them, and that's the way they do that. Or they'll buy an economy item when they normally purchase something. They normally focus on quality and luxury because they just don't see the value in owning that particular item. But for your product that solves a specific problem for a specific person, what do they favor? And you can go through and look and see what the dialogue is on those pages, or the dialogue is on those blogs, or even what they're purchasing. So we just learned that people who have back pain, they like to purchase luxury items. They're spending $135 on something that is a licensed item versus spending $20 in Walmart to purchase that same item, right? We also know they like value because they had several couponing sites. They are comparison shoppers. So we want to talk about the value, but how it's luxury. It's the best value you can get, the best luxury item, the best, et cetera, et cetera. A luxury item like this might cost more anyplace else, but here you're getting an incredible value. So again, we'll go into actually how to write the copy in just a little while, but it's important we nail this down first. Do they like cheap things? What are they interested in saving? Like, we know those people are interested in saving money. They don't really need to save time as much, as we saw. They're not big time savers. They're big money savers. There are a lot of people who are time savers, and you'll see them liking pages about productivity hacks. You'll see them liking pages about, how to get your kids through school faster. You'll see them liking pages about things that would save time, right? Or things that would save energy, or things that would save money, or things that would save effort. You want to look at that. What does your person favor? You can also go, and we'll talk about how to do this in a little while, in our competitive analysis module. You can go and read the competitors' product reviews to figure out what people favor. They'll talk about, and you'll see it. It's like a whole line. It's like, bought this because it's the most affordable, definitely a good choice. Bought this because it was the cheapest. You get what you pay for. Bought this because, and then there's other people who are like, wow, this is really as luxurious as I thought it was going to be, and I'm so excited. It makes me feel like a rich person. You now know what it is that they value, right? So you can go through and look at those. What fulfills them? We went over this too when we looked at Facebook Audience Insights. That's why I love Facebook Audience Insights. They've gone to college so they can work an awesome career, right? We don't know much about their family. We know that they tend to have one if they're in the country. They tend to be single parents in the city. They have higher incomes. So again, based on the price of your product and the value it delivers, target the right group, target the right person. So we don't know if they care about romance. We don't know if they care about friends, but you can find that out from blogs. Okay. We don't know we do know that they like exploring and traveling. That was a big one. Do they like feeling smarter than everyone else? We don't know that yet. Do they like feeling like they're always moving forward with life? Sorry, pardon me there. We can find that out by going and looking at, for example, if they're part of, if you go, you see their top preferred groups are motivation groups, or their top preferred groups are, law of attraction groups, or their manifestation groups, or their self-help groups, or goal setting groups. They are always feeling like they want to move forward with life, right? If their top listings are things like, I'm sorry, not their top listings, pardon me for just a second. Okay, let's say that you go and you see that their the top page they like have a lot more to do with, relaxation. Let's say that they have a lot of them like spas, right? You go to relax. A lot of them like massage. A lot of them like, A lot of the people who fall into that particular character persona or that particular individual persona, they like something that is, they're really big on camping, not just the outdoors, but they're really big on camping pages, right? So we know what they like then. That's also very helpful. So what I want you to do is, what you're going to end up doing is going to Facebook Audience Insights. And again, you can Google it. And if you Google it, you'll get to a page that explains what it is and gives a general overview, which we've already done. But there's a link on that page you can click. Otherwise, as long as it's still valid, you can use the link in this PowerPoint presentation. Okay? Next thing is the 5 levels of customer awareness. And like I said, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about this. So we'll kick off on this in just a moment.